2 to 3% of people get offers from Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. That's about 2 in every 100 applicants.
Now that is just an estimate because real numbers are confidential, but these numbers are something that I found on like forums, and 3% was about the average of what I saw. So this is by number of applicants and then how many of those roles get filled. So a lot of the applications that are received are people who don't care about their resumes and just throwing out resumes to as many companies as they can. So I've been working in the industry for now about 4 years. I started back in 2018, and that's when I started learning how to code on my own. Just taught myself by doing projects and learning on YouTube and Udemy. And then I got some small gigs, and then I started working my way up from there. So while I was working full time, I was also doing school part-time, a CS degree. And for those of you who know, it's really hard doing a full-time job and then coming home at night, going to your late night classes, and then doing homework. Anyways, I got tired of that and I began to think of my options. I was doing front-end development, some back-end development, and I was making some good money, but I just wasn't feeling satisfied with my work. So I started having this big debate whether I should quit school and just focus all my time and effort. And everyone told me something different, right? You'd talk to someone and they would say, yeah, quit school. You don't need school. And clearly I didn't need school because I didn't even need to go to school or a boot camp to get a job. But then another person would tell me, no, school is super important. You need it. I ended up deciding in 2021 in the summer that I was going to quit my job and go back to school full time. So during that time, work felt very repetitive. Every day I just felt like, oh, we need you to write this new component in React. Oh, we need you to write this new table on the back end. And yes, I was doing like Udemy, and I was doing other little things on the side like learning, and I started getting into machine learning, but you can only do so much on your own, and then your job just kind of gets boring and you don't feel fulfilled anymore at the end of the day. I left my job and I needed to fill my summer with something. And so I started thinking, summer internships. I started looking at all the internships available, Amazon, Google, Microsoft. I cold applied to all of these jobs. I didn't have anyone refer me. I didn't go through Recruiter or anything. So I felt pretty lucky to even get interviews with all these companies. And I can share my resume later, how I tailored it. And what I ended up doing was interviewing from September up until like November. And November is when I started getting the offers. Up until this point, 2021, I'd only been programming in a real job for about 2 years. And I hadn't done anything heavy. It's like front-end development. That's about it. And some back-end development. And so my resume wasn't like that amazing, but I had the 2 years. So I wrote a Medium article about my experience specifically with Microsoft, and I go into detail about the different articles I read, and I link them all there. So you can go, I'll post that in the description so you guys can read that. But basically what I did for Microsoft, Google, and Amazon was studied all of their company values and stuff like that on their websites. And then usually every single company posts some prep video that you can watch. I know Amazon has one, Microsoft. They basically walk you through, this is kind of what your technical interview is going to look like. And those are super good to watch. Those are linked in my Medium article. But aside from studying the company values, I did a lot of LeetCode. That's probably where most of my time went. First, knowing which questions are most seen from the different companies, and then just studying those questions. But not just memorizing the answer, but just doing tons of similar questions so that I knew how to do hash tables, binary search trees, and I was ready for any question they threw at me. I also read Cracking the Coding Interview. That was super useful. I didn't just read it from start to finish, but I went to the different chapters that I felt weak on and studied those really well. Now I think there's 2 major things that got me noticed when cold applying. First was my resume and how that was set up, and then second, I think it was because I was Latino. I know all these big companies haven't hit their numbers for the year, and so we need this many Latinos, this many African Americans. When I joined my team at Microsoft in the past few months, they had also hired some other Latinos in South America, Mexico. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So it could have also been a very lucky time to be applying to these companies. But I ended up getting offers from Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. I ended up choosing Microsoft because of their company values. I got more insight by reaching out to people on LinkedIn that work at Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, and really wanted to know, what's your team like? A lot of them said that it depends on your manager, but from the majority that I spoke to, Microsoft had like the best culture, and It seemed like to be more family oriented. If you want to boost your chances of getting an interview with Microsoft, I would definitely try to get a referral. And if you can't get a referral, then try to go through a recruiter. I mean, LinkedIn is such a powerful tool that you can use. I've messaged so many people on LinkedIn and they've responded to me and been so helpful, and definitely use LinkedIn to your advantage. If you're just gonna go for the cold applying route and can't get any recruiters, make sure your resume is super updated and tailored to the job description for the role. So that's how I got into Microsoft, with that resume, with that background, I guess that race. So anyways, if you guys need help, feel free to reach out. I'm always available on Instagram or LinkedIn. And if you guys have any things that you guys want me to go more into depth about, let me know in the comments. See you guys next time.